Okay, and we're live.
Yeah.
I think this is session 19
Yep.
of the Al-Qadim campaign. First time we've used 5th edition D&D, so it's likely to be a bit slow and painful, but we'll work it out as we go along. Okay, right. So the party have been working as caravan guards, and they made it to Talv, which is a city to the, or town rather, to a village even, to the southeast of Muluk, which was where you guys had been before. While there, the head of the village spoke to Umar, who is running the caravan, and asked if he would ask you to go out, take a couple of days detour out to the Valley of the Echoes, where an old hermit named Mahara lived, because nobody had seen him for several weeks, and the last group of villagers that went out to try and find him had failed to return. So you guys went out and you got out into the sort of the first stages of the mountains. Nothing very eventful happened during the first day, but overnight, about midway through first watch, you suddenly that was it. You people were disturbed by the sound of a hyena howling not too far from the camp, and quite unusually, only a single hyena howling. And it sort of started and stopped and started and stopped, and then it stopped. And not long after that, suddenly there was an immense clap of thunder, lightning struck the top of one of the rocks, and a huge bald Dao genie was in the camp. Right, can I do that without? No, I can't, so I won't. Right, yeah, so a huge bald genie, 10 feet tall, was suddenly stood in the camp, and he asked you guys a riddle. The riddle was, I've got it here somewhere. The riddle was: centuries dead and still is living, cannot forget but is forgiving. All beauty gone, all men reviling, time betrayed but still is smiling. And you guys hazarded a guess that the answer was fate. You suggested that to him, and in a flash he was gone. And I believe, did we leave it there, or did we wait until morning?
We left it there.
We were just changing it and we left it there.
Okay. So, yeah. So that's where we are. So you guys, like I say, that you suggested, I think Yazid actually suggested that the answer was fate, and suddenly there was a just, in fact, it wasn't even a flash this time. There was just suddenly it vanished in front of you, leaving just the guttering fire in the sudden wind as it disappeared.
Okay, so weren't we in the middle of changing a shift, changing a watch?
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to remember if I've got.
Well, I was up and Jafar was up with me, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
And we were just going to bed once he'd left.
I think it was me and Rashid to take over.
Okay. Right. So, are you guys going to discuss this before you just bed down, or?
I think we'd have to, because we're too excited or terrified or whatever. Interested. Something exciting, we'll put it down to.
Louis, given my experience as a Shire, do I know if that happens a lot? The genies just appearing, posing a riddle, and then buggering off again.
To be honest, that's moderately unusual behaviour. For one to suddenly turn up completely unannounced, demand the answer to a riddle, and vanish again, especially from a Dao, which is an Earth genie. They are capricious. They are cruel. They are known for being slavers and for being very violent, not generally for demanding answers to riddles from total strangers. So
Which
no,
means we probably didn't get it wrong.
Or we didn't know the answer.
You might show up later and demand that you take your shirt off.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fifth ed. I'm not sure if I can do that.
Okay, I'll communicate this to everyone. Then I think what I'll do is I don't know, either we triggered it or someone sent him at us.
It would be I mean, a full-blown Dao. You would need a fairly powerful Shire in order to imprison a full-blown Dao. It's not impossible. It's far from impossible, but this was not a tasked genie. This wasn't a minor genie. This was a full-blown genie.
I'm wondering if
in the lamp one then.
This campsite we're in, does it look like somebody's camped here before us?
Not that you noticed when you were setting up camp. I mean, it's possible.
Okay. Do I get to cast cantrips for no cost?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And as many as I want?
Yep.
Oh, well, in that case we'll do detect magic.
Okay. You cast detect magic on the campsite, and nothing springs to mind. I mean, kind of as you scan around, you can see Nabil's turban lights up, Yusef's shield and dagger. I think it was.
But that's stuff I'm already aware of, aren't I?
Yeah, those
so
kind of things.
I can ignore that.
Those kind of things light up, but nothing else that jumps to that grabs your attention.
Okay. Right. Well, we ain't going to be able to do much about it. I would suggest that we get as much rest as we can, because if he decides he's coming back, we could be in an awful lot of trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd suggest
Okay,
we get a good night's sleep in.
And was already back asleep.
Okay, so Rashid and Yazid are on second watch, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. You are a little jumpy, and I mean Rashid is of is a desert rider from Al Hasid, so he's used to the deserts and he's used to desert nights, but he seems slightly jittery. You kind of guessing that he's not had a lot of experience of the genies. It's certainly not up close and personal. Nothing happens during your watch. I think, was it Nabil and
Me.
Nabil and Anwar take third watch. I say it seems, if anything, ridiculously quiet, but you're not so silent that it Shibari, Nabil and Anwar, yeah, no, both of you have been out and have spent time out in the desert at night. Yeah, it is just as quiet as you'd expect. So yeah, you awake the next morning, relieved that that nothing else has turned up, which it hasn't. The sun comes up and starts to warm the air around you. The chill starts to dissipate. So what do so you guys wake up the next morning? Is there anything particular that you want to do?
I suppose I better do a bit of praying as usual and make sure I'm all set for the day.
Yeah.
Jafar will have a quick look over his character sheet and try and understand all these new things.
Bizarre sigils and signs.
And how he gets his shirt off.
It's got strange 5th ed buttons on the front of it.
Yeah. Poppers. Doesn't understand poppers.
Okay. So in which case you guys
Breakfast.
Yep. Okay. So yeah, you guys have breakfast. You know, you've got kind of saddle rations. You've got maybe some fresh fruit and stuff.
Nice dates.
And I think you finished the dates. You might have been able to get some more at Talv. I don't know. Barbosa had more than his fair share. So yeah, you guys saddle up and head out.
Discussion on where we're going, or do we know?
Yeah, you've got a good idea where you're going. You've got good instructions. You're basically following out towards the Valley of Echoes.
Can we have a quick look and see if he left any footprints now it's daylight? See if the genie left any marks in the sand or anything?
Okay, looking for marks from the genie. The genie had no legs. The
Poor
genie. There's a joke in there somewhere. How does he smell? I can't find it.
Well, what had he been on that night if he was left legless? Something with that high constitution score.
From kind of below the waist, he was swirling kind of vortex of sand.
Cool.
So there's nothing drawn in the sand or left, no marks left.
I mean, there are marks left. There's swirls where
Nothing that draws.
it's gone round, but nothing that. No, there's no. There's nothing that looks like it demands attention.
Okay.
Other than possibly the
Just thought I'd
complete.
check out this daylight.
Yeah. No, that's all there is. Okay, so you guys, unless there's anything else you want to do.
No, not really.
Break camp, keep going.
Okay, so you guys break camp. You're kind of climbing some quite steep foothills towards the valley. You can see it approaching ahead. Similar to the day before, the way is not difficult to find, but even with the camels, it's slow going. There's a lot of loose rocks and shifting ground. You've just got to concentrate on it. You're not making anything like the kind of the kind of movement that you'd maybe expect. Yeah, you see. Has anybody got who's probably the best guy for doing kind of survival type stuff? In fact, it might be Rashid.
Probably.
I would say.
I've got +2, but it's not one of my. I'm not proficient in it.
Oh, I've got a +3, but I'm not proficient in it.
I'm
Yeah,
proficient with +4, but it's probably Rashid.
I would say okay. And what? Sorry, who's got? Is that for perception or survival?
Survival.
Survival.
Okay, I would probably say then, Anwar, do you want to roll?
Yeah.
And does somebody want to roll for Rashid, who's got a +2?
Go on, I'll roll for Rashid then.
16.
19 for Rashid.
Okay.
That includes the +2.
Okay, so what you both kind of realise as the day goes on is there's a point where you can see some vultures off to one side. There's some birds around. And these mountains are never going to be full of life. But there does seem to be generally a scarcity of kind of small mammals and reptiles even. There just seems to be less around than maybe you'd expect. Other than that, halfway through the day you find a small spring, so you can replenish your water bottles and drink your fill, which is quite welcome. And yeah, you work your way onwards. The day passes pretty much kind of as you'd expect. You don't really hear anything unusual. You don't. There's a like I say, there's a slight lack of wildlife. Not that you'd expect to see much, but there's maybe some birds about, but nothing on the ground, and not much sign of anything on the ground. Because I'm thinking Anwar and Rashid are probably both thinking, well, if we can find some decent sized lizards, you can maybe roast them over the fire.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff, and there's nothing. But other than that, the day passes without incident, and you make it almost to what you assume is the Valley of Echoes. You can see the mountains starting to pull up on either side of you when you get to a point where you are going to spend the night. I think what I'm going to do is suggest the same two people give me another survival check. So Rashid's got a +2. Give me another survival check and we'll...
20, non-natural.
Okay. What you got, Simon?
Sorry, what am I rolling?
Survival
Same
check
again.
for Rashid. So whatever you've got on the dice +2.
Oh dear, you threw a natural 20.
It threw a natural 20.
Yes.
Okay.
22 and 20.
In which case, would somebody like to describe to me the campsite that you guys find? Because it is ideal. It is better than you could possibly imagine for the for where you are.
You go
You
for
do
it,
it,
Ollie,
Simon.
go on.
You rolled it.
Ollie, you go for it.
Okay.
Quite like
So-
outside the Hilton Hotel.
No,
Yeah,
no.
Carved into the
This
rock
poor
face.
guy in a turban suddenly sticks his head around a large boulder and goes, "Ah, my friends, come with me. Swimming pool. We have bar."
Free bar.
Right. Are there any are we still kind of in a open flat space, or is there more rocky outcrops and stuff now?
There's rocky outcroppings. You see the picture. Which side is it? This side.
Yep.
A bit like that.
Kind of like that. So there's a bit which is kind of because I'm imagining it gets quite does it get windy in the desert? Windy?
Yeah, you're heading up from the foothills to the mountains.
Yeah,
but
so
it's
likely to get more wind.
be windy. It's cold at night as well.
Yeah, and cold. There's it's like there's a rock face which seems kind of curved, kind of a nice wind barrier, and there's a nice place to put the fire if you wanted to put it there. I'm awful with setting and stuff, so yeah, and
Small spring tucked in the rocks for fresh water.
I wasn't gonna go there, Charlie. I did think it, but
Yeah,
um,
no, that's all.
Rocks large enough to hang a couple of hammocks from.
there's a spring not too far away though, and
There's a fallen dead tree we can tie our camels to.
there's some large stones which could have the camels tied to.
Okay. So yeah, so you find. I mean, like I say, it's on those
And a
rolls
juniper bush.
and a juniper bush. Has it got juniper berries on it? Sorry, bear with me a sec. Yeah, so this campsite is just about ideal. It's better than you. I mean, last night's was pretty good. This one's perfect. So you guys settle down. You can you get some food going, get a small fire going. Same pattern of you going
Makes
for the
sense.
same pattern as the
Yeah.
night before?
Yeah, we don't argue, we just go the same.
Okay. So yeah, so you guys settle down for the night, leaving. Just trying to double check who it was. So it was Jafar and Youssef on first watch.
hmm
Okay, so you guys get yourself comfortable, and everybody settles down. You guys are propped up. Are you propped up? You standing? You sitting? Kind of guessing.
Sitting on a convenient rock by the fire.
Okay.
They're sofa shaped.
They're sofa shaped. That's the real miracle.
Yeah.
So yeah, you guys managed to get yourself comfortable, and you're sitting down and kind of making small talk and keeping your ears open for what's around. And about half an hour, maybe an hour after you've settled down, you start to hear the bleating of what sounds like a mountain goat, and it's coming from kind of further up on the rock wall behind you. Sounds like it's kind of quite a way. And then yeah, so there's just like this bleating of a mountain goat.
The temptation.
Go on, the temptation.
Bleeding mountain goats. Good.
They obviously knew you was coming, Charlie.
Yeah. That's it.
Okay, sorry, whose watch is this on?
This is on first watch again.
Okay.
So this is Jafar and Youssef.
The bleating of a mountain goat.
Yeah.
Louis.
Considering last night's events, it's very suspicious, and I don't think we should do anything about this at all.
We're going to keep listening out for it, keep an eye out, see if we can see any movement, but not make any rash decisions.
Right, Louis.
Ready and guarded.
Yeah.
Can I summon my gen, please?
Are you awake?
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
First watch.
We are on first watch.
I am going to set him off to go and see if he can find a first level spell. Alarm.
Okay. You've got the sheet. I shall open mine. It's a fairly low percentage, so roll those dice.
I'm level 4 now, 80% I think.
Blimey. Yeah, it is.
Right,
You just
so
need
let's pick the right
180.
dice. And I roll a 93.
Yeah. You hang around for about a minute, and your gen comes back looking slightly sheepish and kind of shuffling. He hasn't got feet, but he gives you the impression that if he had feet, he'd be shuffling them in the sand. And,
Can I try again?
You can, but the chance reduces to 70%.
Yeah, come on, why not? We'll give it another go, and then we'll call it a day if I don't get it this one.
Well, go and look harder then.
Look, here is a nice shiny thing if you can find it. 87 this time.
He comes back saying, they're just not there. They're not
Okay.
there.
You're not having the shiny thing then.
Perhaps you
And
used them all previously.
I shall dismiss him. Actually, no, I have to do an unusual punishment for him. While he's on my watch, he can be yet another set of eyes.
Okay. All right. So are you're gonna give up on that one and just go back to sleep?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So while you're doing this and shuffling around, the sound of the goat just kind of drops out. It vanishes, or it vanishes. It goes quiet. And 5 minutes, 10 minutes later, all's been quiet. I'm going to say, only the two of you are awake, and suddenly there is this really loud howling of a hyena again, and it is high up on the slope behind you, and I'm going to say everybody wakes up. It is loud.
I was going to say we're going to wake him anyway, but go on.
Yeah, and as you wake up, you hear the hysterical bleating of this goat again, and there's growling. So you at this point, so you two are rushing over to wake your comrades. The rest of you wake up probably before they actually get to you. They'll like say this this bleating of this goat that just sounds utterly terrified. So what do people want to do?
Make sure I've got my my Warhammer handy, just in case.
Yeah.
But keep it safe, not threatening, just in case he turns up again. And just be prepared. Have a good survey round and find somewhere nice to hide.
Okay, I'm going to summon my Jet again and then send him off to go and find Magic Missile.
Okay.
Might as well give it a go.
You have an 80% chance.
75, I think.
There you go.
Yeah, 75.
These dice are liking you. Normally,
Yes.
if you want them to roll high, normally. Right. Okay. So yeah. So he goes off. He will return in a minute, but it'll take him. It will take him just over a minute to come back. Okay. Does anybody else want to? Anwar.
Anwar's looking around and he's holding his great sword.
Okay. Okay, so as you kind of stumble about, and about the time the Gen comes back, it sounds as though this hyena manages to get hold of the goat, and there's growling and just the pathetic, wet, brutal sound of this goat just being ripped to pieces.
No, Dylan.
And it suddenly all the noise just stops dead.
That's not normal.
No, it is like somebody's flicked a mute switch.
Yeah, Anwar was saying that. Kind of looking around for someone else to back him up on that, because he's not completely sure it's not normal.
Okay. What direction did the sound kind of come in, Louis?
It was coming from on the. It's not a sheer rock face behind you. It's a pretty steep angle, and there are maybe some ledges and things up there. But you looked at them and thought, well, nothing's going to be up there. Nothing's going to manage to climb up to that. And if it does, they're kind of 30, 40 feet above you. So anything trying to drop down into the camp from up there would really have problems. They'd be more likely to damage themselves than they would to damage you. But that's where the sound was coming from, was further up the cliff face, probably on one of those ledges.
Is it climbable?
You could try, but
Never mind.
Can my gen move through the earth like an earth elemental?
Yeah.
Because that's essentially what it is.
Yeah.
So I'll get him to go and look.
You'll get him to go and look.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're just going to send him up the.
Yeah, stay outside as much as you can, but see if he can see what's going on up there.
Okay. Do earth elementals have dark vision? I think they do, don't they?
I think so.
Yes. Yeah.
They do.
Yeah. I'm pretty
Okay.
sure they do.
Okay. Actually, let me double check something else that I've already got out. Yeah. Okay. Do you want to roll me a wisdom or just roll me a d20, Simon. See what.
9.
9. Okay, so you summon the gen back. It takes a couple of minutes to turn up, and you point up the cliff face and ask it to go and look and see what it can find. It kind of just sinks down into the earth and vanishes, and it's gone for I don't know, maybe 3-4 minutes. During this time, that just everything is. I don't know that I'd say supernaturally quiet, but it is. You can hear your heart beating in your own ears as you're straining for any kind of noise or any kind of sound. There's some slight sounds of movement up from above you as sort of pools move and things, and the gen comes back after probably 5 minutes. It appears in front of you, and he says, "I found some type of tracks, but no sign of anything up there."
Can you show me the tracks? Draw the tracks in the sand.
Okay. Okay.
Man, he's cruel.
He makes these shapes in the track in the ground in front of you.
Actually, Louis, it's a
yeah.
silly question, but there is a cantrip called Mould Earth.
Yeah,
not use that?
I think that's elemental. That's elemental evil, isn't it?
Think so.
I'm gonna say that what I'm gonna say with any spell users is initially player's handbook spells only, and then if you come across, and I may sprinkle them out there. Any spells that are from either the Elemental Evil book or from where are we? I've got Gothnog's 5th edition Wondrous Spells. Any of those, if you find them on scrolls, for example, and Shires can cast from scrolls. You cast from scrolls, you can then send your gen out to try and get those, and if Nabil finds a scroll or gets a spell book or something like that, he can introduce it. I've got half a feeling that Nabil does have one of the elemental evil spells in his spell collection because you found it in Hazala's spell book.
I think I picked that up when I generated the character, so I'll ignore it.
Ah, sorry.
That's all right. That's fine. I just assumed it was in the book, and it's not.
Yeah, I think it's an elemental evil spell.
Okay,
yeah.
No, that's fine. I'll just get him to draw as well as he can the tracks that he sees.
Okay, he draws a set of tracks, and I'm gonna say, does anybody who thinks their character would have knowledge of wild animals from the desert, I'll include Rashid, on that. Want to try and make a roll to see. In fact, what I'll do is, okay, Anwar, you're kind of moderately well versed in desert lore and stuff. Make me a survival check at advantage.
Okay.
Can Rashid do it as well?
What I've done, I've rolled Rashid as helping out,
Okay, cool.
and that's why he's got advantage to it.
16 and 15, so that's non-natural 20 again.
Okay, right. You're fairly sure that well, they look like hyena tracks, but they look larger than a hyena track. Certainly, the size that the gens made them on the ground, they would. They look. You're fairly sure they look like hyena tracks, but they're larger than you'd expect hyena tracks to be.
Anwar would crouch down and look at them for a moment, and then look at is the gen still there?
Yep.
And he'd go, these tracks, this accurate size.
The gen pretty much disses Anwar, but looks at Yazid and said, just like that, same size.
Anwar would look around and say, well, they look like hyena tracks, but hyena tracks normally aren't this big. And I imagine Anwar would look at Rashid again.
Louis, can I make a stretch here?
Yeah.
Have any of us heard of were hyenas?
There
would be sort of like ancient rumours of creatures that could turn into men or men that could turn into creatures.
Yeah. What would be a good? What would be a good skill for that? Would it be? I'm not sure about religion. Maybe history.
I would imagine history.
History, probably.
Okay. Roll me a history check.
Okay. So my history is +7 because I'm proficient in it. So
You got 5 intelligence.
16.
Yeah, you've heard rumours of were hyenas, and
I mean, thinking about it, are they usually sort of like bigger than a normal hyena?
in stories, everything is always bigger than anything else. I am going to ask Liam
Yellow.
to roll me what would be a good thing for this? Roll me an investigation. I probably shouldn't give you an investigation, but I'm going to do. Roll me an investigation check with advantage.
Okay,
Does that dice come up on anyone else's
back in
screen?
a second, guys.
No. So roll 2d20 and give me the higher.
I rolled a 17 and a 16, honestly.
Okay. So 17, so that's 22.
And add what to it, sorry?
It would be your investigation skill.
Which is a +5.
So it's 22.
So it's a 22. I'm working on the grounds that you're a Ruan, you are used to telling stories, you are used to hearing stories. So all of that history, I've gone intelligent, I've gone investigation because you're sorting through when he mentions were hyenas, your brain starts turning. Yeah, you've definitely heard stories of. Everybody's heard stories of shapeshifters and men that can change into things. There are stories generally told by the uncivilized tribes, those on the far side of the Forgotten Mountains, Furrowed Mountains, and along there, of packs of shapeshifters in hyena form. There is one very famous story of a pack of shapeshifters where they were one of them would come into a village as a human and would befriend people and then take them back out of the village, and they would never be seen of again until Malik al-Halzun famously fought and slaughtered the entire pack. That's the legend.
The legend. Sorry.
Yeah. How much of that is legend? How much of that is history? Such things blend.
So there definitely could be about.
Could be. And the beasts were larger than normal hyenas.
Cool, looks like it's those then. Cool.
It could be. Or it could be a legend. Or it could be for real but not here.
For realsies, yeah.
Okay. Simon's wandered away for a sec. I could do a grab and a drink. Do we want to take a quick 2-minute there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'll be back in a moment.
Yep.
Yeah. So what was Blazing Saddles like then?
Yeah, I quite liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was quite good.
A bit surprised by some bits, but
Yeah. There was quite a lot of times when I thought, oh, I've heard this before.
Yeah.
And I didn't realise that that's where it was from. I thought it was quite good. The ending I liked.
Yeah.
Quite liked the ending. I quite liked how weird it was.
More beans, Mr. Taggart. That was some class stuff. We're all sitting around a campfire eating a bean.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, I've seen other things that have done that.
Yeah.
The bit when he takes himself hostage.
Yeah.
I thought that was quite clever. Quite like that.
And the Ku Klux Klan bit.
Yeah.
The queue.
Yeah.
And the toll gate. I did like that as well.
The what that?
It gets to the toll booth and then we're going to do this shit.
Oh, yeah, to slow them all down.
He could have walked around it with no trouble at all, but
Yeah.
and hanging a horse.
Yes.
That's class.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I quite liked it, yeah. Quite good.
So it's worth seeing. So what's he got lined up for you next?
Pardon?
What else did he have lined up?
Young Frankenstein, I think, is the next
That's
one.
Young Frankenstein, that's what's next, yep.
Apparently they came out in the same year.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, yeah.
No, I did quite like it, yeah.
Oh, you like the bit at the start where we're all standing around singing the Camptown Lady and
Yeah.
they kick on champagne?
Yeah. And we nearly lost a $400
Handcuff. You're going to leave us to die. No, it's clever. And Mel Brooks playing the Gov.
The who?
The Gov, the president. On the back.
Oh, right, yeah.
And his secretary. Just
Yeah. I quite like it, yeah.
how do you feel the boys?
Yeah, so I now understand. Well,
Oh yeah.
so we understand.
And Lily von Stupp.
Yes.
Those snits and grivers sure wipe you out. And they squeezed as much as they dared in that film, I think.
think they towed the line quite well.
Count Basie band as he rides past it in his Gucci gear and everything else.
Yes.
And stuff like that. It's like, no. Somebody having a shower? Oh, we've gone green screen.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why.
Oh.
We're still live though, so we've got to keep everybody entertained.
That was a time to come back in.
The cantina.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, chaps, I'm back now.
No, that's fine. We just took a quick break anyway.
We're just doing the cantina music and some other stuff.
Yeah, I got back to see Liam go do 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 do. Lightened my evening.
Oh well, you know.
My whole day.
At least he wasn't doing his Yocky Day bit.
Okay, mate.
Okay. Right, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Just bear with me half a sec.
Oliver's crunching his crisps and you're fighting with him for control of the microphone.
Oh, it's unmuted.
Every time he munches, he comes to the front.
Okay, right. James will be back in a sec. So, right, yeah. So you guys, yeah. So basically, you guys have all come awake. You've heard this. You've sent the gen up there. You've sat around the fire for an hour trying to discuss the tracks and what you think they mean. And Jafar tells the story of Malik Al-Haloun, who I think that was his name, who famously fought a pack of shapeshifters.
I imagine Anwar's heard something kind of the sort in the barracks at some point.
Yeah, you've probably heard the story going around because it's a tale that's being told. But
not in as much detail, of course.
Yeah. So yeah, Simon, what Jafar remembered is the tale of Malik Al-Haldrun, who there was a band of shape changers who spent most of their time as large hyenas, and one would become human and go into villages, befriend people, and then lure them out to the pack until Malik managed to single-handedly go out and only with the hand of fate helping him slaughter the entire pack, who legend would have it, turned back into humans as they were killed. Once they were killed.
Well, that just makes me want to get out of here even more.
Yep.
Who's next?
Finish our night's sleep yet? Something like.
Who's got the next shift, Louis? Do you know?
Next shift is you and Rashid. But it's only been about an hour since you bedded down. Well, it was about an hour between you bedding down and the sound starting. It's about an hour later now, something like that.
Our watch is about 3 hours, so we're nearly up. So you're going to go back to bed?
What rest I can.
We'll settle down a bit more out of an unease and unsettled, but we'll keep looking.
Okay, so everybody else happy with that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yeah, so Jafar and Youssef settle down to stay up. The rest of you try and bed down the best that you can. And Yazid and Rashid, you guys are both probably barely got to sleep before Yusuf and Jafar come over and say end of our watch, and wake you for yours. Far from feeling refreshed, you've kind of had half an hour's kip followed by an hour or so being up, and then trying to get back to sleep for another 3/4 of an hour, and then what feels like about 20 seconds sleep before you're being woken up for your shift.
Okay, I'm going to summon my Gen again. Okay. I'm going to say to him, I'm a stand watch now. However, if you can find the alarm spell this time, you don't have to stand watch with me.
Roll me a percentile dice. You're looking for 60%.
$38.
30.
Yeah.
He comes back pleased as punch with this tablet, and this story of how he stole it from directly under a Dow's nose. He was the bravest of brave little gens, knowing that Master craved it so much. He crept in and took it right from in front of a full-sized Dow, and hurried back to bring it to you.
Okay, I will find the shiniest copper piece I have and give it to him.
He's very happy with it. You also are hoping that he is significantly exaggerating the story.
Of course.
On the grounds that if he isn't, you could end up with a rather enraged Dow following him from the plane of elemental Earth.
However, I will now cast Alarm, and I'll make it the audible version.
Okay, so anything that crosses the boundary to the camp sets off an alarm. Sets off an audible
An area range is
noise.
no larger than a 20-foot cube. The spell
Yeah.
alerts you whenever a tiny or larger creature touches or enters the warded area. When you cast a spell, you can designate creatures that won't set off the alarm, in which case I'll choose the party. You
Yeah.
can also choose whether the alarm is mental or audible. Audible produces the sound of a handbell for 10 seconds within 60 feet.
Okay. Right. How long does it last?
8 hours.
Nice. So that will do your watch and the next watch.
Yep.
Okay, so the rest of you guys bed down. You two stay up, swapping stories. Rashid telling you bits of lore of the Al-Qadim, and you, I'm guessing, sharing tales of Shairs.
Hang on, I'll be back. That was my front door.
Okay. Quick, while he's away.
Quick, kill him off.
That'll be his Amazon order. The only people I know that deliver at this time of night.
The milkman, damn.
Alright, I'm back again.
We've either been playing longer than we thought, and that was the milkman, or it was an Amazon delivery.
No, it was my mother.
Dear, oh dear.
My mother said hello.
Back from bingo already.
No, we're not damaging it yet. I know.
Nearly as bad, Charlie, line dancing.
Line dancing, that's not so bad. That's exercise.
Dances. Wow.
Same level as Morris dancing.
We're having a fight.
So, yeah, without the blunt weapons. Yeah, so you guys, your shift actually, your watch goes without disturbance. You occasionally hear something, and there's a tiny slither of small pebbles or something, and instantly you're on your feet and ready to go. And Rashid's pulled his scimitar, and then kind of 5-10 minutes later, you actually sit back down again and chill and restoke the fire. But the watch passes without anything untoward actually occurring. So at the end of that time, you wake up Nabil and Anwar. Right. Is there anything specific that Nabil and Anwar are doing to prepare for their watches?
I'm going to warn them that I have the alarm spell going.
Cool.
Okay.
Anwar would be very kind of
Oh, there we go. He's back.
frozen.
We got Jit,
Yeah.
and then it went completely black and silent, and then came back with Turi.
Very jittery, kind of. Can you still hear me?
I can hear you. I can't see you.
Yeah, I can't see anyone else either.
Yeah, I can hear. We can hear you.
Okay, kind of the. If he had a gun, if there was the slightest sound, he'd like be. But obviously he doesn't. But that kind of mentality.
Okay, so yeah, you guys are up and fairly focused on what's going on. Likewise, you know, the tiniest little movement, a mouse moves a pebble half a mile away, and you're back on your feet. You're probably getting through more firewood than you were expecting to, but you make it through, and again your watch passes without event, and the sun rises and another day dawns. From what you've been told, you think you should be able to get nearly to the far side of the Valley of Echoes in the next day, and then it's only a short way beyond that to where Mahara is. So you've probably got one more day's travel, one more night's stay, and then you'll arrive the next morning.
Cool.
To find out what's going on. So does anybody want to particularly do anything?
No, not particularly.
No, not really.
Okay.
Anwar would just be on the lookout for any kind of tracks or evidence of things on the ride thing.
Okay.
Going past.
Okay, so you guys break camp, breakfast, still kind of jittery even in the daylight. You're not sure quite what's going on, but yeah. You make your way into the Valley of Echoes. The valley itself is strewn with large black angular boulders. There's a persistent wind which follows you, occasionally blowing up dust, which gets in your eyes. Those of you that have got kafirs, kind of headscarves, will find that they're constantly kind of whipping around unless they're tied or secured somewhere. You know, Adil is Adil is complaining quite heartily about the whole trip, and saying that, you know, he knew he was going to die when he was pulled out of civilization into
I thought he was with us.
into this. So had I until that point. Anwar, about mid-morning. Oh, sorry. One of the things you notice, it takes you maybe an hour to move into the valley proper, and what you do notice is that any time that one of you calls to another one, there are just hard echoes coming back off the boulders. Not quite the slightest sound, but certainly any loud sounds do echo around off it. This is not a valley that's been named for no reason. mid-morning, Anwar looks up and notices that there's a black kite, the bird, not the flown variety with the string, circling over the top of the valley. And a few minutes later, it lets out a loud. I don't want to say squawk because it's a kite, but piercing whistle, which again you hear just bouncing off surfaces in all directions. The valley's not cold, but it's certainly given where you've been and where you've been travelling, it's cooler than you'd expect. And basically it just runs pretty much north-south, in a kind of dead straight line, just with massive mountain peaks on either side,
Right.
rising gently, not particularly steeply, but rising gently, and you're winding your way through these boulders for the majority of the day. Right, I'm going to do the same thing that I did before, which is oh blimey, okay. Right, Anwar, would you like to roll a survival check?
14.
14 total. And I'll give you advantage on it because I'm not used to advantage, I'm used to bonuses.
That's fair enough. 23.
23, that's better. That's even better than the night before. Okay, you find
I find the exact same place, but with a chair as well as a sofa.
I was going to say what you find is slightly off what's sort of the beaten path. You find a ring of boulders kind of that are pushed together, so you get in there, you can light a fire, and it just looks like a pretty decent place to set up. There's you can keep the camels at the back. You can light a fire and settle down. It's a
mini bar yet?
place. No mini bar yet.
No. Wrong.
Maybe when you get to the hermit. Yeah. So you guys set up camp. You start a fire. Are you going to keep the same watch order?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I go for alarm again, please, Louis?
You can go for alarm, and I will say that given that it's pretty much 24 hours, I'll reset your chances of him finding it. 80%.
70.
70 is enough. Okay, so you get to cast alarm.
Again, I'll warn everyone I've cast a spell, so if they hear a small bell ringing, then something's got in the camp.
Okay. You're quite quiet. I heard that, but you're quite quiet at the moment because your mic's up in the air.
Sorry, you should be able to hear me properly now.
Yeah.
So again, I'll just warn everyone, the sound of a bell means something bigger than the rat has got into the camp.
Okay. So, you guys bed down. Sorry, we take same watches. Okay. So, Jafar and Youssef, you settle down. You got the same. So again, it's not quite circular, but it's pretty much circular. You're gonna have the fire right in the centre, camels on the far side.
Is there a wall protecting our back, sort of thing?
There's not particularly, but there are like big boulders all the way round that sort that. There's an area towards the front which is it's.
There's an entrance way we came in from.
There's an entrance way you came in from. There's not another one.
Right.
Something would need to be fairly athletic to get over the top of these boulders.
Where's Barbosa?
This is a
I think
question.
he's got
Where
a
is
date.
Barbosa? Oh dear me.
You asked for it.
Yes. Okay, so you guys settle down, and
I've got back to the fire.
you've got your backs to the fire. You're sitting there. You're warm. You're comfortable. About an hour and a half passes. Everybody's getting off to sleep, and this bleating goat starts up again.
Oh, for goodness sake.
We'll be bleeding by the end of the evening, by the sounds of it.
Okay, it's out there and it's bleating. So, are you guys doing anything, or?
Well, turn around and try and find out where the noise is coming from for direction.
Beginning to wonder whether or not I'm actually going to be awake for this, seeing as I had a rough night the night before.
Okay, yeah, no, I would say Yazid's probably asleep. I would say, you guys all had a pretty broken night's sleep, so I would say Yusef and Shafar are managing to stay awake, but it's an effort, and the watch is seeming longer than normal.
We're trying to make a judgment on how far away it is and which direction.
Okay, it's coming from the north. It's coming from the direction you've been travelling towards. Exactly how far is difficult to tell because it is echoing off. You're kind of getting a feeling that it's from there, but kind of beyond north is a bit difficult to tell, and it's echoing around.
And it's very dark, no full moon or anything.
It's there. There is a slight moon, but it's pretty dark. You can go outside the camp.
Camel, could I see over the rock wall?
You could probably, if you got Shafar to give you a boost up, you could probably see over the rock wall.
Oh, yeah, that might be an idea. If Jafar's up to it.
Sure.
Rather than set the alarm off and go out the door and have a look.
Okay, I'm not going to make you roll a perception check. You can't see anything as you look over. Like I say, the whole valley is just strewn with these huge boulders.
Can we see a goat or anything that resembles a goat or movement? No?
Nope. You're
It's
not seeing anything yet.
It's worth a look. Are there any strange disturbances in the sky or anything else?
Nope.
Okay, we'll just sit down back to the fire and get warm again.
Okay, after about 10 minutes or so, the bleating stops. So when the sound stops, are you doing anything?
No, I'm not. Jafar is not keen to stick his head out at all.
I don't want to set the alarm off.
No,
yeah,
you won't.
I don't want to set Jafar doesn't want to set the alarm off.
You can't set the alarm off. The alarm has been triggered not to be affected by you.
Well, Jafar doesn't quite have that sort of grasp of these spells, so just to be sure he's not going to go out.
Just to be on the safe side.
Just to be on the safe side.
Okay.
And I'm not going up my own.
Once it goes quiet, it goes deathly quiet again, and it stays quiet for the whole of the rest of your shift. So in the darkest hours of the night, you wake up Yazid and Rashid.
Cool.
Okay.
The Eid men.
Okay. You guys are you making any special prep, or Simon? Is he still there?
I think so.
Has he dropped? I think Simon's dropped.
Yes, it would seem so. Yes, it would seem so.
Okay. Let me just see if... don't do it there. Okay. Okay. Do we wait around for Simon, or do I tell you what happens and we kind of NPC Simon unless he drops back in?
I think we should just keep going and then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So Yazid and Rashid have been sat around. Aha, he's back.
Sorry, don't know what happened there. It just
All right.
died.
Yeah, I get that sometimes. It's really annoying. Yeah. So, is there anything that you think that Rashid or Yazid would do, kind of specially for the guard duty?
No, not really. Unless there's unless we can hear more sounds or anything like that.
Okay. So, well, you guys. I'm guessing that Shafar and Yusuf have told you that they heard more bleating, but that nothing but nothing else.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so you guys settle down to watch, and about half an hour, maybe slightly longer into your watch, you hear the bleating start up again. And like I say, trying to find the exact direction is difficult, partly because of the echo, well, partly because of the wall of boulders around the camp, but also because of the echoes.
Right, Louis, I'm
yeah,
going to summon my Gen again
yeah,
and send him off to go and find detect magic, because that is actually a first level spell.
okay,
Yeah, that's what it was.
okay. Roll me a percentile.
Yeah, 55.
55. Okay. What's the range on detect magic?
Hang on a minute, I'll tell you. 75,000 feet. No. Range self. Oh,
It's a proximity to yourself, I
The
think.
presence of magic within 30 feet of you.
Okay. I will say, your immediate thought is that this is further than that.
Okay.
But
Well, I've got my Gen there then. I will send him out to go and have a look to see what he can see. I'll tell him to remain hidden within the earth, but to see what he can see.
okay. He heads out. Okay, make me a roll.
Just a D20.
Just a D20. I'm guessing that he's not particularly
18.
18.
Ooh.
Okay. He disappears. He's going to go and scout around. He's been gone about 5 minutes when howling starts up from the south side, from the south of you.
Close or?
Not that close, not far enough away for comfort. It's not kind of,
Right.
half a mile away, but it's almost impossible to tell because you can't even quite tell how many howls there are because they just reverb off the rocks and the slopes. Your Gen, Simon, comes back, probably within kind of, I don't know, a minute or two of the howling starting, and he comes back and says, "Check the howling, or the bleating."
Check the howling.
Okay, he vanishes and disappears and heads out that way, and you hear this time from the west, which is the opposite side of the camp from the doorway, from where the entrance is. You hear this this woman's voice that just rings out, and she's screaming out for help, pretty much just in a panic.
Okay, I'll look at Rashid, and I'll say to Rashid, we must go and look. We cannot leave.
Okay, I'm going to say, sorry, I'm also going to say when the howling starts, the rest of you guys wake up. The bleating you can sleep through, but the howling has definitely woken you.
Yeah.
We must go and look. I would suggest that Rashid or whatever goes and looks. I would go myself, but I must wait for my gen to return. If my gen returns in the next few minutes, I will be going to look.
Okay.
Okay, I think the sound of this terrified woman is probably enough to spur him into action. Does anybody else want to go with him?
Yeah, Anwar's going.
Jafar will boldly follow them right at the back.
Okay, so we've got Jafar following Anwar and
Following Rashid.
Okay. Right. Okay. So you guys, I don't see you
And
guys.
yes, come on, I'm going as well.
You're going as well. You
Yeah.
sure?
Yeah, I was on mute. Didn't realise.
So we're leaving the
You're leaving the two wizards.
the wizard, the
and
other wizard.
the terrified thief.
Defended by camels, yeah.
Well, I'm sure I can destroy everything with Thunderwave if needs be.
And
That's a
Barbosa.
good point that you raised. Jafar volunteers to boldly stay behind and defend the camp.
Yeah, that's fine. We've got the cleric. We've got the ambulance. It'll be fine.
I think it probably makes more sense for Yusef to go, actually, because this will be a story you can tell at Temple.
As a cleric as well, it's the ideal thing.
Well, no, I just as a temple as a cleric of Najam, this is
Yeah.
you know,
This is an adventure.
yeah. Okay, you guys kind of organise yourself quickly, grab swords and a maul, don your armour.
Oh yeah.
Anwar would be, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that's going to take you a couple of minutes to do that.
Yeah.
While they're doing all this, does my gen come back?
Okay, in the as they are just about to leave the camp, your gen does finally return. Just as so, three things happen almost simultaneously. The first thing is that the guys that are going out of the camp are literally just at the door, at the same or the opening. At the same time, your gen returns and just kind of appears out of the earth in front of you. And the last thing is that whoever the woman is, she starts screaming in pain. Like shattering, soul-wrenching pain, and there is sounds of just the some of the hyena howling changes to and mutes in its sound. Okay, the gen comes and says to you that it could only find one hyena, and it's huge. It's twice the size of a normal hyena, and it is howling, but that was all it could find.
Okay, I shall send it off to go and find another spell for me, another first level spell.
Okay.
Witch's Bolt.
Which bolt?
Yeah.
Okay. I will remind you, within 3 rounds of you getting the spell, you have to use it.
Yes.
Okay. Right. Roll me percentile.
19.
That's
You should see it, actually.
definitely, yeah. Okay. So he will turn up with that almost instantaneously. He goes off and he comes back with it.
Okay.
Okay, so
I'm gonna head out with everyone else.
you're going to head out with everyone else.
Yes.
Okay, you've only got kind of 18 seconds or so when you can use that spell.
Bugger. Okay, well I'll have to wait until he goes again, and then just send him out for it again. Do I
Okay.
get the minus to it? If anything, I would have thought I should have got a bonus to it, because he knows where to go and get it.
They're exactly how they get the spells is really difficult to explain. Nobody quite worked it out.
And can you get him to hold it in a dimension and
No,
then
he has to
pull
bring
him
it to me straight away, or he can't. It's that simple. Okay, yeah, well, we'll head out.
Okay, so we got your seed going as well. Okay. Right, so describe to me how you guys are going. Are you going quickly? Are you going stealthily? You know, I mean, this woman's screaming is.
Yazid is going to push for us to go quickly. If this woman's in pain, then we need to go and find her fairly quickly. Get her into the camp so we're back in a defensible position. Do this as quickly as we can, because he feels this reeks of a trap.
Can we tell where he is? From now we're outside the wall, have we got a better direction for sound?
Not really. It's coming from the east, so you're leaving kind of from the northwest of the ring. So you're going to have to go around the edge of the ring and then try and find out where you're going.
Okay, so we can go at a sensible speed then, because we've got no idea where we're going anyway. We're just heading towards some noise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the
How
noise.
well can we see, Louis?
There is, I mean, I said there is a moon in the sky, but it's not tremendously bright. You can see where the rocks are. You're not about to trip over and fall over, but you're not going to see anything particularly clearly at a distance.
Okay, and I'd probably call out to Yusuf if there's any chance of getting some more light.
Okay, Yusuf. Have you got a light? You got a light spell, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
Do you want to fire that up?
I can fire that up. Who am I going to cast it on, or what am I going to cast it on?
Your call.
That's a good question.
It needs to be on an object.
On an object.
You could cast it on your maul.
Let's go for it. I cast it on the maul. Go on then.
You could cast it on somebody's shield. It's.
I was tempted to cast it on my own buckler. I don't know if I can use my warhammer at the same time.
Yeah, it's a warhammer, isn't it? Yeah, no, you've got a buckler. I reckon you can use a buckler and a warhammer at the same
Okay,
time.
so I'll cast it on my buckler because I can move that around a bit.
Okay, so your buckler lights up as you call out on Najam to light the way of the righteous in their mission of mercy, and you guys make a quick move out to go and do it. I'm going to say Anwar. Can you make me a? Actually, I'll push it. Make me a survival roll.
15.
15. Okay, you get around the wall, and the sounds from this woman. She is in agony, and you trail around the wall, and you can definitely get to the point where you can hear which direction it's coming in, kind of generally. So you get round and you head off in that direction. trying to work out where the sounds are exactly coming from is tricky, but you think you're getting closer to it, and then as you're almost sure that you're getting there, everything goes completely silent again. And not just the sounds of the hyena, but again, it's like somebody's just flicked a switch and everything goes silent.
Anne was gonna keep running and looking around.
Okay. What are you looking for in particular? Just something odd, or
Something odd, some evidence of like maybe like scuff marks in the sand, like, or just the woman or something.
okay? So
He's not really expecting to find anything. He's kind of just frustrated and yeah.
okay.
If Yusef isn't still coming, you probably can't see anything, but...
Is Yusef carrying on? I mean, you staying together as a group as Anwar suddenly forges ahead as it goes silent?
We'll try and keep up with him, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, you can keep up with him. It's just like it goes silent, and for half a second everybody stops, and then Anwar just takes off in the direction, kind of studying the ground and trying to see what's there. You spend, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes, and there's no sign of anything. You can't find tracks. Like I say, the surface of this place is just like a jumble of boulders. You can't work out where the hell anything is. Certainly, by the end of 5 minutes, you just find that you're going in circles. You think, but you're not entirely sure.
Anwar kicks a stone in frustration.
Okay. It bounces off, clips something, and you hear kind of a couple of little echoes kick off.
Okay, if it's obvious that we're not seeing anything out here, Yazid is going to suggest we head back to the camp.
Head back to the wizard.
Oh, the wizard and the thieves. Sorry, Bard.
Yeah, and Anwar would actually look round and say, where are the others?
Yeah, so I'll just start heading back.
Okay, well we're all going to head back, I assume. As I'm going back to the light.
Okay, it's not too difficult. When you turn around, you can work out where your camp is. You're still not quite sure whether or not you've gone round the same kind of 3 or 4 boulders several times, but working out where your camp is isn't too difficult. Once you start to get close to it, you can find your way back without tremendous trouble. So yeah, you walk in, and Nabil and Adil and Shafar are sitting around the fire, kind of wildly eyed. Are you going to give them some warning that it's you coming back?
Well, the alarm won't have gone off, so...
No.
Yeah, no, I'm just wondering because I'm tired and I'm fed up.
In which case, I am going to ask Liam. You still there? I'm definitely going to ask Nabil for a perception check.
I was wondering why no one was responding to me. I am indeed, yes.
Can you roll me a perception check?
Do you still want me to roll one?
Yes, I'd like both of you to roll one.
And Adil?
No, I'm all right with the deal for the moment. He's cowering over by the camels.
Right, that's a natural 20.
Okay.
Um,
No, that's fine. That's fine. On a natural 20, that's fine. I've got what I need.
I got a 4.
You got a 4. Who's got the higher dexterity?
Other way round.
Yeah, 19.
yeah, 13.
Okay, you see figures
Not bad
come
for a wizard.
round the entrance of the doorway, Shafar.
Cool.
What are you
Draw a
going to do?
longbow, point it at them.
Okay, so you've got an arrow knocked and ready to fly, but you're not letting fly. Okay, Nabil
Yes.
realizes that this is the party coming back and that you are pulling a bow on them.
Greetings, my friends, I say as I go to push the bow that Jafar's holding aside.
You're now muted. No, you're still muted. He's not that worried. I think the gist of that was that he's trying to point it maybe closer to a dill than at the rest of the party.
Yep.
Don't
I'm
shoot
going to
the camels.
ignore the pair of them and just go and collapse into my sleeping area. I'm assuming my watch is very nearly over.
Yeah, you've probably only got about half an hour of it left.
Yeah, I'm going back to bed.
And yeah.
And I'm heading off to bed. I'll leave my shield out, can light in the path for them.
I think once you go to sleep, that light's going out.
Is it?
Oh yeah, it's
Alright.
not continual. But you're back by the campfire now, so.
Yeah, my night light's going to go out, yeah.
Okay, so Yazid has just walked over to his bedroll and collapsed and rolled over and pulled it across him. Rashid looks kind of surprised at Yazid, because there's still some of the watch to go.
And we'll do it.
Okay.
Jafar was just about to offer, but
I think last watch is Anwar and Nabil, isn't it?
It is, yes. So I'll just wake up Nabil when.
Nabil will suggest that there's no point in them doing this last half an hour.
Then I will suggest.
Yeah. Okay, so the rest of it's gonna, so Anwar and Nabil are stoking up the fire, getting it ready for their their ship. Is anybody not just going to go and crash out? Do you want to discuss anything?
Nope, crashed out.
Well, Anwar and I are going to start discussing breakfast.
Okay, you've got a couple of hours till dawn yet. Okay, so everybody beds down and just gets as much, tries to get to sleep the best they can. I'm guessing Yazid's pretty much out like a light.
Yeah.
About 20 minutes later, the howling, the bleating, and the woman begging for mercy all start up again. And it's like a switch has come on.
Oh, for goodness sake.
is this a sort of magical sounding switch?
The sounds are 100% real, but there is an instant kind of 1 minute there's nothing, the next minute there is howling, there is
Sounds like a speaker. They'll mute.
It's like somebody's just pulled the mute button off something.
Cool.
So do we think it's in the same direction as before?
All of the directions seem very similar. It's difficult to tell because it's echoing off everything, but pretty much, yeah, it sounds like it's probably coming from the same kind of direction it was before.
Okay,
Well,
Louis.
I'm pointing in the direction, so in the morning I know which direction I thought it was coming from.
Louis,
Okay.
can Yazid have a think to see if he thinks that this is some sort of spell going on?
Roll me an Arcana check.
Okay, my Arcana is +7. No.
You're not aware. Nothing immediately comes to mind. You're desperately trying to see through this fog of tiredness. with your head ringing from the sounds bouncing off
I look
rocks
very
and cabin
pointedly
walls.
at the bill and says, I can't think of anything, but this seems like a spell. Why don't you try and have a think?
Okay.
The bill will initially roll a die. Oh, this isn't going to be much better. That's a 2.
Louis, if I'm giving him help in the background, does he get it at advantage?
Not when you've just rolled a 1.
Damn.
Okay, you rolled a 2, and your Arcana check, I'm guessing, is a 5. It's a 7. Okay, so you rolled a 2, so that gives you a 9. I mean, the only obvious thing that you can that immediately comes to mind is it could be. I mean, I don't know. Have you got Minor Illusion? But I mean, Minor Illusion is a spell you've come across before. If this is Minor Illusion, it's extremely good, and it's more than one casting of it. But you could produce the sounds that you're hearing with a Minor Illusion spell as individual sounds.
Can I try and mirror this?
Or a thaumaturgy, or whatever you want to pronounce it.
Cast. I don't know if thaumaturgy is quite the same, but
I can do a voice boom times 3, and a few other
yeah, no, I think that's a voice boom rather than
a sound, specific
a sound. Yeah, if you wanted to try and have you got Minor Illusion?
Yes.
And it's a cantrip, not a.
I shall
Is it
just.
a cantrip or a first level spell? I just want to make you aware. If you cast it, you've casted it. You've cast it. And I will also point you out. You have not had 8 hours rest.
Minor Illusion cantrip.
Cantrip. Okay, yeah. Do you want to try and echo the sound back?
I want to try and echo something back to basically go, oi, it's not just you who can do fancy things with magic.
Okay, so what sound are you going to pick that you're going to...
I'm going to try and mirror the scream of this woman.
Are you going to warn the rest of the party or not?
No, and I will throw it a little bit away from me so it doesn't just seem like I've got a particularly feminine scream.
Yeah, there's nothing particularly feminine about these screams. It's definitely a woman, but okay. Can you do that with Minor Illusion? Can you throw the sound to? I think it's within 30 foot, isn't it? Okay, right. So yeah, so you see Nabil sitting scratching his head, and he looks up. I'm guessing there's some kind of gestures and muttering involved. And then suddenly from whereabouts in the campsite?
I'm going to get it coming from the fire.
From the middle of the fire, suddenly
Yes.
there's pretty much the same sound of this woman screaming, but not in sync, coming from the middle of the fire. How long are you going to do this, James?
Until I'm reasonably happy that I've managed to perfect it, so maybe kind of 10 seconds, bit of modulation, a bit of modulation there.
Okay, yeah. How do people react to this?
What the?
So Rashid knows. Sorry, Yazid has got a damn good idea of what he's done, and just goes, "Why? Why there?"
Jafar will probably shite his pants. In all honesty.
I'll just be looking around in amazement and thinking,
Your arse is...
something going on between these two.
Well, I'm getting a little fed up of this magic they're showing off. I wanted to demonstrate they're not the only ones who can do it.
Have you killed the illusion now?
Yes.
So, generally, because I'm aware of the time, what are you guys going to be doing over the next, while this is carrying on?
Whilst this horrific screaming is coming out of the fire.
No, not out of the fire. The fire, it only lasted about 10 seconds, and then he went, well, I was getting fed up with them showing off.
But the outside scream's carried on, has it?
The outside screaming is still carrying on. There's still
Okay, so he's
bleating
going to
and
walk up to the
screaming.
entrance of the campsite. He's going to shout out. He's going to shout out anyone in particular who's listening out there. Enough with the tricks. If you want to come and talk to us, come and talk to us. If you want to come and attack us, come and attack us. Enough. And then he's going to stomp back to his sleeping thing and go to try and get what sleep he can.
Okay. Roll me a d20. Give me the result.
A 2.
A 2. The sounds keep going for about another, 10 minutes, quarter of an hour, and then suddenly again they just stop. So I'm guessing from what you've just done, I'm guessing that you guys aren't looking at particularly responding to any of the sounds that are going on out there.
No.
Just checking our direction, see how long we've got to reach, what's his name's camp? Or cave?
Mahara.
Mahara's cave? Yeah.
This is the last night. You're well within you're within striking distance of the end of the valley. You should get to him within about 2 hours journey the next morning.
And then we can be back here for the next night or further. Yeah. Provided.
Okay.
Well.
So you guys, like I say, you guys try and bed down. Nabil and Anwar are sitting up. It is deeply, deeply unnerving. The sounds for the whole of the rest of the night, the sounds are suddenly it will all start up again, and just go on for like 20 minutes, something like that, and then cut. And half an hour later, just as you're getting your head back down and you're getting some sleep, it'll start again. And probably about half an hour before dawn, it goes quiet, and then you find that you're just waiting for it to start again, and it doesn't. But the fact that it doesn't is almost worse than if it had. And you're just on edge with it. Yep.
Once I realise what's going on, can I cast a first level spell?
Yes.
Can I cast sleep on myself?
On the path.
Right. Couple of things. Firstly, if you cast it, I think its duration is a minute.
Yes, but then I'll be asleep, wouldn't I?
I don't think you can cast it on yourself.
Oh, okay.
You could cast it on the rest of the people, but it would knock them out, and then they would wake up again. Especially when it drops out and drops back in. That's not helpful, James.
Works on dice rolls as well, so it probably wouldn't be that successful.
Yeah. But I mean, there's little that you can do to kind of get a good night's sleep. The noise is just, and it's not quite like it is at home if the next door neighbours have got music on and it stops. This is like, mountain pass in the arse end of nowhere. When it goes quiet, it goes silent, and then when it starts up, it's full on.
Anwar actually after a while starts singing.
Okay.
Kind of under his breath when it's like really quiet, but then just when the sound starts, just gets really loud because he's really fed up with it.
Okay. Like I say, about half an hour before dawn, this cacophony just stops, and you spend the last part of the shift, especially like the last 20 minutes before dawn, you're just on edge waiting for it to start again, and it doesn't. The sun comes up. you could try and not break camp until late and try and get a little bit of sleep while it's light, in the hopes that it won't start up again now it is light. Or you
Instead
could,
of that, now it's daylight, could we go and have a proper look around and see if we can see anyone sitting there sniggering whilst we're trying to sleep because he keeps casting light? Looking. Can we go see if anyone's there now it's light?
yeah, okay.
So I
So
don't
you
imagine
guys,
anyone's asleep really.
no. So you guys gonna go and do a really good, thorough search now it's daylight?
Yeah,
Yes, I can wander around.
Yeah.
see
yeah,
what's on.
definitely.
Okay.
Louis,
Yeah.
before we do that, I'm going to send my gen out and get detect magic. Do you want me to make a roll?
No, I'll just. You can have it.
Okay.
Doesn't Yusuf have detect magic?
Nope.
On
Oh.
Bill.
Um,
I don't know that you do actually. From what I remember your spell list.
no, I don't.
Okay. So yeah, look, you guys go out. You don't find anything magical. What you do find, you're fairly sure, is hyena tracks, and they are large, scuffed up sets of hyena tracks. And they're at various places around the. Where are we? There are various places around the outside of the camp, kind of 100, anything from kind of 80 to 120 feet outside the camp, in various different places.
But if we follow around, are they continuous, or do they appear in discipline?
No, they're continuous, but you see, kind of they'll go, and then suddenly there'll be like stony patches or whatever, and you can't see them. And there's points where there's like one set of. Sorry, can you mute? Cheers. There's points where the tracks come, one set of tracks come up, and then there's a big scuffed up area, and then there's kind of another set of tracks that lead off from that area somewhere. When Anwar spots that, he immediately picks up on. This looks like, something's been pacing backwards and forwards here and has then gone off again.
Yeah. This might be a bit out of my survival knowledge range, but would Anwar think possibly that if the place we found to rest wasn't as good, we might have come into contact with said hyena?
They never got closer than 80 foot from your camp, and
Okay.
they're definitely larger. Whether or not the gen was being 100% accurate when it said that it was twice the size, the prints are the size that he showed you.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
But yeah, they were definitely pretty large animals. You're guessing. Whether or not they would have attacked the camp if you hadn't had that rock wall, you have no idea.
Okay. Let's pack up camp and keep moving.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys kind of drag your weary asses into gear, pack up, make sure you've got all your water bottles and stuff, climb onto the camels, and head off through the valley. Pretty much the journey is similar to the day before, winding your way through these large boulders. About an hour out of camp, you get to the you get to the end of the sections with boulders, and it opens up a little bit into sort of more of a plateau. And off on one side of the plateau, you can see a very narrow pass, or a very narrow path rather, quite sheer-sided, that winds its way up up by the side of the hill, and looks like it goes between two there's probably like a little open area up on the where these two kind of hills meet. There's kind of a craggy open area up there, and from what you've been told, that's exactly what you're looking for. That is where Mahara will be. When you look at the path, you don't think you will be able to get your camels to get up there, but you will be able to go up on foot. And that, I think, is probably a good place to stop.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
So, I will drop us off air.